Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hey, I'm Matin. I mostly post jokes, story times, and thirst traps on social media. Anyways, so many of you guys have been asking for this video for the longest time about how I came to Canada and how you can do it too. So I'm finally here, ready to get into it. First, why I came to Canada. There were mainly two reasons why I came to Canada. One of them was to gain my freedom of expression and to be who I really want to be. If you want a little backstory with more details on that, you can watch this video up here. The other one was that I always wanted to study game design, but there weren't many universities in my country that had that course. So the resources for me to do it were kind of limited because I know you can learn it through YouTube or online courses, but I actually wanted a degree as well. So yeah, that's why I wanted it to be at a college or university. Not that it really matters these days, but still, it was something that I wanted to have. Also, the best way I could have came to Canada in my specific case was through a student visa anyways. So I gathered some of my top character designs and drawings and created my art portfolio and started applying for a bunch of universities I wanted. I got accepted to all of the universities I applied for, and they all actually offered me a scholarship. I'll give you advice on how you can get a scholarship as well in a little bit. Long story short, I applied for one of the universities, gathered my documents, and applied for a student visa through an immigration lawyer. So many people do it themselves, but I'm actually not the brightest, so I wasn't able to do it myself. I had to have somebody do it for me. I actually got rejected 2 times because Canada didn't and still doesn't have a good relationship with the country that I'm from, which is Iran. And they're completely valid for that. If you watch the news, you would know what I'm talking about. Luckily, on the third try, I finally got my visa after 1.5 years. I started my classes prior to coming to Canada since it was COVID and everything was online. I booked my flight for right before the second term start. I got on the plane, flight to Turkey first, because my flight was a straight flight from Iran to Vancouver with a 4-hour stop in Turkey. I actually was so tired that I slept those whole 4 hours, waking up every once in a while to make sure my bags weren't stolen. Because the airport was really busy and I had cash on me because first time ever I was going to Canada, I didn't have a bank account and stuff. So yeah. Then I got on the plane to Canada. The plane was half empty since it was COVID, so I had 4 seats to myself. So I at some point I put the handles up and just laid down and slept the whole time. Other than the times that they brought me snacks, dinner and stuff. It was pretty chill. When we arrived in Canada and I looked outside of the window, I knew straight away that this was my heaven. I cannot explain in words for you guys how beautiful Canada is, specifically Vancouver. Anyways, so I had to be quarantined for 2 weeks in a hotel room because it was still COVID, and there were certain restrictions. They needed to make sure that you don't have the virus, which so many people find unfortunate. But to me, those 2 weeks, guys, I felt like I was living in the clouds. I didn't even care about the fact that I'm stuck in a room for 2 weeks. The fact that I was in Canada, done. In those 2 weeks, I had the best deep sleeps I've ever had in my entire life. I was sleeping like a baby. After those 2 weeks ended, I started going out, got my essential stuff such as SIN number, opened a bank account, got a SIM card, applied for my medical insurance, and some other basic stuff. It did take me a while, but I also found an apartment and moved there. And shortly after that, I also found a job. So I was settled and good to go. 2 years have already passed from those weeks. I'm graduated from my course now, and I've gathered quite the experience. I'm going to tell you how living in Vancouver, Canada really is, in my opinion. It's pretty good. I'm really grateful to be here. You literally have access to most of the things you need. You have free healthcare if you're a permanent resident. If you're not, you have to pay a monthly fee. And mind you, you still have to pay for your medication separately unless it's something specific that you don't need to pay for. Anyways, let's continue. You won't really have an issue if you don't have access to a personal vehicle. The public transportation here is pretty good. It does have delays sometimes, but still it's pretty good. We have SkyTrain, Sea buses. There are also some public bikes, but I've actually never used them, so I don't know how they work, but I know I see so many people use them regularly on the streets. One thing though is that if you don't live in downtown, do not even think about walking anywhere. I'm personally a walker, that's why I live in downtown. Outside of downtown, everywhere is literally so far away. You have no choice but to drive or like take public transportation. The weather is pretty good. Not that cold, not that hot. It's raining most of the time, so everywhere is green. There are lots of places for you to hike, to swim, to explore, and so many festivals and events overall. Like, I know just this week we had like at least 5. Freedom of expression. Canada values freedom of expression and promotes open dialogue. So you can express yourself however you want as long as you're not harming other people or violating anyone's human rights. However, I don't want to sit here and lie to you guys. Discrimination here still pretty much exists, just that people aren't that vocal about their bigotry because they're afraid of getting canceled and losing their jobs. Now, some stuff that might be a little bit challenging. Taxes, baby. Canada has relatively high tax rates, including income taxes and sales taxes. While these taxes fund public services such as like free healthcare and education, they also can impact your disposable income. Disposable income means the money you have left after you pay your taxes to the government. The inflation. I don't know if it was this bad right before I came here, but as soon as I came here, everything's prices started going up. The housing crisis is really bad at the moment. I've heard the prices are going to go down a bit because there are lots of homes that are empty at the moment, but we don't know for sure. Let's just hope they go down. You have to network and be out there for people to see you in order to be able to get good jobs or offers. Prior to coming here, I thought that you'd only need to have the skills necessary, unlike in my country where everything's mostly networking. But employers and people here overall really care about the personality of the person that's working for them, which is completely understandable. If I had a company and wanted to hire someone, I would also want someone that is familiar with my company's culture and would be able to work with everybody else and is kind and respectful. So yep, try to be nice to everyone you meet first, go to networking events and try to meet new people. Vancouver specifically is kind of an antisocial city, but not really. There are people that like to go out and meet new people as well. Just go to these events and you'll be able to spot them. At the end of the day, waking up here every day feels like a blessing. Of course, life can still be difficult. Work isn't always going to be good. Economy and housing crises are getting worse day by day. But at the end of the day, the basic human rights and the privileges you get just by living here are what makes it really worth it. Based on my current knowledge, there are 2 best ways you can come to Canada specifically or any other modern countries, which is either by studying or getting a job offer. Studying can actually be a little bit expensive depending on your chosen field of study, but you can always get scholarships or a financial aid from your government or either university. I don't know how you can get financial aids, but I do know people who have gotten it, both from the government and their university, so 2 financial aids. But as for the scholarship, since I've gotten it myself as well, I'll give you a few tips on how you can get it too. First off, create your portfolio and make sure everything is high quality and only put your best stuff in it. Now, each portfolio is different. For example, for an art portfolio, you'd need to put your drawings, sculptures, or any other like artsy stuff. For a coding portfolio, you'd need to put your coding sheets. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but you get what I mean. Get certificates from small courses online you can take as much as you can. This will show the universities that you're constantly pushing to be better and overall would be a good student for them. Other than that, I do know they give students from countries who are currently going through horrible stuff scholarships. So also do mention and ask them if they do have specific scholarships for people of your community or culture. In some universities, they even have partial scholarships for people from the LGBTQ community. So good luck with the scholarship. Don't be shy to ask them and wish you luck. How to get a job offer. To start, you still would need to have a really good resume and portfolio for this. Once you've done that, try to apply for jobs in your field in Canada or any other countries that you'd like. If they accepted you, work for them online for a while, perform your best and show them that you are a hard worker and overall good for the company. You need to prove to them that you will be a good investment for them. Show them your face on group meetings and always be nice, respectful, and kind. And after a while, when you get comfortable comfortable and finally have set your foot down, ask them to sponsor you and give you a job offer. You might think to yourself now, oh, what if I get rejected and stuff? But you can always mention this first when you're having an interview with them, or maybe in the first few weeks of working with the company. Like ask them, oh, have you guys ever sponsored anyone? You know, put it in the conversation and they'll definitely let you know. I know so many companies do, like even my barber has sponsored someone to come to Canada. So I don't think you're going to have any problems with getting sponsored. So I wish you luck. With the job offer, there's also another way. If you are wealthy and have the funds necessary, I know some immigration companies / lawyers will also do this for you. So basically, they'll get your work visa for you first, so you don't have to wait for anything, and then come to Canada. But don't get me wrong, you still need to know what you're doing. Now that we got ways you can come to Canada out of the way, imagine that you've already got your visa, and let me give you some tips before you come here. Learn and perfect your English. People might act like you can still go by life with normal English, but that's not the case. I'm going to be 100% real with you. When they're going to hire you, they really care about that. I've seen people's job applications get rejected by managers because their English communication skills weren't that good when they did an interview. And overall, it will be really hard for you to be able to communicate with people if you're not able to understand them or talk to them. So you don't need to be perfect, but be good enough that you'll be able to effectively talk and communicate with people. I have a few tips for you on this. First, try to watch English movies with English subtitles or even no subtitles at all. Second, find a friend in person or maybe even online and try to practice English with them and only talk together in English. I actually did this with one of my friends when I was learning English first, and it really helped me. My third tip would be to only use English to English dictionary after you went up to being an intermediate learner. Don't translate anything to your mother tongue. Don't do it, that's bad. And lastly, and the best tip I think someone can give you when you're learning English would be to try to think in English. This tip right here did wonders for me, and that's all I'm gonna say. Just try it from now on and you'll see the results. Oh, also don't forget that some places in Canada mainly talk in French, so you might need to learn French as well, specifically if you're going to places like Quebec or Montreal. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now, my second tip for you when you're coming to Canada: try to find your job and housing prior to coming here. Try to come here with a job offer. We already talked about this, but I think I forgot to tell you that coming here with a job offer is literally the best way you can come here, in my opinion. This way you wouldn't need to worry about landing a job on top of everything else you need to do when you first come here. And yeah, try to find a place before you come here. There are things that you need to do when you come here first that it's better if you have a fixed address for them, such as getting your ID, opening up a bank account, getting your health card, and I think you also would need it to get your SIN number, which is the first thing that you need to get when you come to Canada, because every other place you go will require you to have the SIN number. It's basically your social insurance number, and when you get it, I'm telling you right now, do not give it to anyone. Hide it immediately. They will explain that for you when you go and get the SIN number themselves, but I'm just telling you just in case. If you weren't able to find a place first, don't worry, you can always change your address with them. But yeah, overall finding an apartment is one of the hardest things when you first come here to Canada. Because getting a good apartment isn't really easy. You need time to go see different ones, research the neighborhoods, see them in person, and see which one suits you the best. If you have a really close friend here, ask them to go see the places on your behalf. If not, stay in like a hotel or maybe another cheaper temporary place and take your time searching for a good apartment. Also, be extra careful with contracts when you're renting an apartment or even a room. Never give them money before completely reading the contract and making sure you're okay with everything. Don't be shy because you're a foreigner, okay? You have a right to be comfortable when you're giving people your money. Ask questions if something sounds fishy. For example, there's no name in the landlord section, just numbers and they're claiming it's their own company. Don't be shy. I've been scammed before and I'm here to tell you they do not feel ashamed when they scam you. Rather, they're always calm, calculated, and didn't do anything wrong. Which is crazy, but I guess that's people for you these days. Okay, so many of us weren't blessed enough to be born into countries that are accepting and non-discriminatory discriminatory and where we'll be allowed to follow our dreams while having access to the right resources for us. But that doesn't matter because you were lucky enough to be born, and if you're watching a video like this, you're already one step ahead and want a brighter future for yourself. You're on the right track. All you need to do now is to do more research, make a proper plan for yourself, follow it through with discipline, and I'm 100% sure you'll be able to succeed. Go get it, bestie. I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video. Also, don't forget to leave a comment if there's something specific you want me to know, or never be afraid to DM me. I usually try to answer everyone if I have the chance. Thank you so much for watching this video. Love you. Bye bye.